A clandestine town shows up with a hidden mission from the government. Just about every government does its dirty business in secret. After all, if all secret plans were available for the public, the general public would probably live in a state of constant panic. In addition to the public, unfriendly nations would have all the ammunition they need to counteract any advance efforts. In a small town in Tennessee, way back in 1942, the whole town was summarily kicked out with little to no warning. In their place, the town was populated by the military for the sole purpose of completing an urgent but entirely secret undertaking. The residents came home from work one day only to be greeted with an eviction notice from the US military, plastered to every door of every house and business in town. More than 3,000 people were displaced from an area that covered 17 square miles in the Appalachian Valley. No reasons were given to the residents, but the government had a very clear cause for wanting to use this secluded area. A few weeks after the mass evictions, the military rolled into town in droves, causing fear and trepidation to the surrounding towns. In short order, a whole secret city was built and named Oak Ridge. While the surrounding towns knew it was there, Oak Ridge was not included on any map, and it wasn't included in the census. The town appeared to be like any of your run-of-the-mill towns with local shopping, movies, churches, and the like. But a closer look revealed much more. Aside from being surrounded by barbed wire, the whole town was covered by armed guard towers to keep out unauthorized visitors. Strange cargo shipments that arrived on large trucks came on a daily basis, and workers toiled endlessly to create a unique infrastructure for the town, which also featured a giant U-shaped building said to employ thousands of people. Aside from that, there was also an equal number of temporary housing structures built for the families who moved to this secret town. There was also railway and roads, thousands of miles of them, to make travel easy for the strange residents. Most of this strange behavior started around World War II, at a time when supplies were being rationed all over the country. But in this secret city, there was an unlimited amount of cash and produce, seemingly without end. In addition, everyone had health care, and there was literally no one in the city unemployed. This almost seemed like a fairy tale. And that's because the whole town was nothing more than a fabrication of a real city to cover up the fact that it was nothing but a secret military base. Its residents themselves didn't know quite what their end goal was, but like anything secretive, it doesn't stay that way for very long. Shortly after its creation, Oak Ridge was named the 5th largest city in the country, using a 1/7 of all electricity being generated in the USA as well. There was obviously much more going on, but hardly anyone outside of Big Brother knew what it was. It seems far-fetched, but even those working in the factories in the city didn't know what the whole picture was or what they were making. The new residents were told by the US government only that their work would help end World War II. But now, how would that happen? No one wanted the war to continue, and patriotism has always been at a high during this era, so they showed up and did their job with no questions asked. All over town there were signs placed to remind people to keep the town's secret work to themselves. 3 long years went by before anyone had an idea about what they were working on and how it was going to help the war effort. On August 6, 1945, the secret finally came out. That's when it became clear that the residents of this secret installation that appeared to be nothing but a small town were actually building the atom bombs that were used in Japan. While a lot of people were happy that the war was finally over, there were an equal amount that were devastated that their efforts were used to kill thousands of civilians. The whole government project was named the Manhattan Project, and all the buildings in Oak Ridge were used to enrich uranium and make plutonium for these bombs. There were 3 other locations in the USA that were also used in this effort, though much smaller. But what do you think happened to the town after the war was over? The old residents didn't come back, but the town was given back to the public in 1959. It was then able to be located on the maps, and plenty of people went and still go to take guided tours of this famous secret town. There's still a nuclear research program run by the government in Oak Ridge, but it's nothing like the Manhattan Project. The town has 30,000 residents and 2 of the 3 power plants that were used to power the project. Can you imagine living and working in a secret city for years without knowing your purpose for doing so? Can you imagine that if the government can hide a whole city and such an important project, what else they might be hiding from the public? The work at the secret city of Oak Ridge ended the war, but there are a lot who feel tainted by the blood their work spilled to achieve that end. How do you think you would feel in their place? How do you think your friends would feel? Share now and find out.